Good evening. Today is July the 8th of 2012. We're at the very final series for the overall topic of autonomy, the 3-month series, or 3-month topic as it were. This last month we're going to focus on a series called Singularity. And it's precisely because it's a spiritual concept of autonomy. And I'm going to explain more in depth what it means to be autonomous, what it means to be an individual, because that's the essence of it. Autonomy is the nature of the individual, but it's only when you recognize your true singularity, your true individuality from the collective oneness, that you'll be able to better understand, make tangible this concept. The first topic within that is the most obvious one, the ego. Actually, this is the body concept for it because it's the one that is the most, let's say, understood at this point, the most conversed upon, the most sort of substantive in this reality. It has a history that you can trace. The problem is, most of the history is horseshit. I actually was very tempted to spend the first portion of this talk on just demolishing the archaic ideologies of what the ego is, so that we could get to a point of understanding what it, building what it, in actuality it is. But I made a promise that within this octave I'm just going to give you things you can use, and me spending time deconstructing other people's false ideologies is not something that tangibly is useful to you. You should do it on your own, though. So I will spend time talking about what the ego is. The ego, in essence, is the luminous outer shell that holds a singularity, individual consciousness that is invested in this material, experiential version of reality. Put in layman's term, it's what makes you real. It's what keeps you real in an surreal, hallucinogenic reality. What I mean is this: all that we touch, all that we taste, all that we experience, even the collective oneness, the prime creation, is in actuality not real. It is a hologram, an illusion, a skillfully crafted illusion, but an illusion nonetheless. What the ego is the outer film that allows that illusion to maintain a existence within the paradoxes and not dissolve. Brought into the relation of what it means to you, what your ego is that which allows you to pretend to be real when you are in fact only empty space. It's what gives you an individuality, an individual perspective. It's what gives you a choice, what gives you the ability to have individuated experiences, to have personal drives, free wills, purposes, goals, destinies. All of those things arrive from the construct of the ego, which is legitimately the very first construct that came into existence. When the void birthed the prime creation, that was the ego, the prime creation, that singularity version that allows it to see itself as something separate from the void. The thing that allows you to see yourself as something separate from the prime creation, from all the life around you, from the planet, from the cells in your body. That is the ego. It's the lens of separation. That lens has been distorted and villainized. It's been said that it is the ego's fault because it creates desires. No. Desires are just within the aspect of its creation. It's part of what it's made up of. It's the way that it communicates, in essence. We'll spend more time with that, but what we're going to talk about now is how the ego works. Like, its actual constructed ideology. We've discussed at this point what it is. It's that which allows you a singularity perspective. How does it work? It works by consciously making you forget that you are intrinsically connected to all reality, and then distracting you from that truth so that you can pretend to have a singularity consciousness. It's the carrot that dangles in front of your face. But think of how masterful a creation that is. It's something that legitimately, within every moment of its existence, defies the very intrinsic nature of the nothingness of reality in order to allow you to experience the things in reality. That's how it works. It works by, well, sort of forming a symbiotic contract with you. It gets to know who you are. You get to know who it is. And then it works by figuring out who you are at present and understanding who you are trying to be and putting up the lenses necessary for you to be able to see the best way forward. Does that make sense? The ego is that which allows you to see the world through your eyes. For you to actually have a word choice like your eyes. Even though such a concept by its nature is asinine. There is no yours. There is no eyes. It is only the ego that allows, by the very nature of how it works, for you to deal within the confines of contradictory paradoxes and not unravel. Let me put it this way. Your body is composed of light. Intrinsically it is. It's the material of dead stars. Those material are, in essence, condensed versions, slowed down versions of light that have huddled together in order to create solid seeming objects. Light by its very nature wants to disperse in all directions. It doesn't want to, its nature isn't to clump together. It actually takes an active component holding it together. We call it gravity. It holds the material together, but very few people understand what gravity actually is. It's a song. It really is. It's a song that your soul sings to the light of material that is your body, that convinces it to act against its own nature and stay together so that it can experience a very unique version of reality, of density reality. Your ego is not the song, it's the word that the song, the words that exist within the song. It's the lyrics. It's the words that convince your solid matter where it is, what state it's in, what it should be experiencing. Alright. None of this matters if I can't actively explain to you how to apply this concept. All of these things are intrinsically true. You can research them on your own, and also I challenge you to challenge me. If there is anything that you hear me say that you can logically or even imaginatively come up with a sound counter argument to, please make me aware of it. Because if it turns out that there is something that I have misperceived, then I would grow from that experience, and so would you. But as it stands right now, I'm open to all versions, and there is no static ideology that I'm trying to hold on to. All of these concepts are emergent. How to apply this particular concept, though? Once you understand what the ego is, you understand that it exists outside of the realm of conventional good or bad. Judging it as good or bad, beneficial or non-beneficial, is in fact inefficient. It's not going to get you any closer to experiencing the type of reality or gaining the type of experiences within this reality that you're looking for. The ego is a tool that allows you to identify with the experiences in such a way that you gain the potency of the lessons from them. That's why we got into third dimensional reality in the first place. Because of the the extremes of the polarity, because the contracted timeline of the life. Everything becomes more intensified when you're immortal, when you are a mortal, when you know that this moment, it might be your last. These relationships won't last forever, that the person you're with is precious because of that the flower is beautiful because of its delicacy. The ego is what allows for such a sort of surreality to exist. So how you use it is by deciding what shape that lens takes. See, the ego is not something that's determined outside of you. It's never something that takes shapes and then enforces its will upon you. It takes the shape that you communicate is the appropriate shape for the experience that you're ready to have. The ego is a multi-dimensional tool, meaning it exists at the most dense and confined level, which is where most people's egos are, which is why so many people say you need to devoid yourself of the ego, because it exists in this rigid, dense, socially bound state. The ego basically acts in counter to what you say, based on your social conventions. If you tell it, my identity rests in the idea of me being a man or a woman, then it adheres, it rigidifies over those social conventions, and then that's the lens that you start seeing the world through. However, if you get rid of social conventions, the ego becomes an expansive tool and then allows the lens to see all the versions of reality that you're willing to accept. So what you do is you expand first spiritually, mentally, physically, and then with your expanded point of view, you tell your ego, listen, within the totality, within the collective, this is how I want to be viewed, and this is how I want to view. And it will take that lens for you. And it will determine how you're viewed by others, and how you view others. How the totality is in essence interacting with you. That's what the ego allows. It allows for your individual presence in this moment, in the here and now. It's why so many people miss the point when they become spiritually enlightened and they just become these airy-fairy, disassociated beings who are so busy with meditative experiences and trying to leave this reality because it's oh so bad. They forget the point that you're here for a reason. You came here to this planet for a reason. You took a body on this time for a reason. To enact that reason, to fulfill that purpose, you have to be willing to use the vessel of interaction, the social vessel of interaction, which is the ego. It is made with a harmonic frequency of the society that we're in right now. We are in an egoically based society. So it makes no sense to try and elevate past that frequency and then determine what the society would do. You're not speaking its language. It can't even hear you. This brings us to a totality concept. Alright. Totality gives me the chance of recognizing the fact that even though I'm speaking about intrinsic vibratory frequencies, I am not those vibratory frequencies. I can take a step back from them. Reside within the nullification, the 0 point, the non-associative portion of my reality, and then see where it's best for me to experience things. Sometimes it's best for me to experience them through my heart center. Sometimes it's best for me to experience them through my ego. Sometimes through my mind's eye. Sometimes through my throat chakra or my voice, my communicative nature. Sometimes through my action totality or my crown chakra. But those choices are given to me within this reality because I have crafted an ego that is uniquely endowed to allow me to interact with all of the frequencies. It's why I can use technology so fluidly. It's why I'm busy crafting an image that is going to send ripples and shockwave through this society and give me the resources, the collective attention, the credibility, the trust, the people that I need in order to reshape this reality. Never forget or never doubt, that's what I'm doing. With every word that I speak, with every time that you listen to me, we are coming closer to a version of reality that I am actively crafting. I am crafting it because I can't depend on others to craft it. It is my version of reality to determine, as it is yours. I love you.